I love my mom, and I'm clearly her favorite of four. My siblings, they can argue all they want, but they know mom loves me best. Just kidding. I'm sure all kids say that about their parents. But what I love about my mom is something I want to share with you. My mom is constantly saying things to people like, my daughter's a PhD, my daughter has a radio show, my daughter this, and her other daughter's paramedic, her other daughter's a retired Marine Corps officer, her son, or my brother, extremely successful. My mom is talking us up. But my mother has always had these feelings that she doesn't do much. Sorry mom for admitting it, didn't get her diploma in high school and feels as if she doesn't provide so much to society. And when she does say things like that, I like to stop my mom. Of course, you can't always stop your moms, right? They're all proud of you. But I've had a discussion with my mom. Mom, it is not I who gives so much to the world. It is you. Anyone could get an education. Well, maybe not anyone. I don't want to downplay. But all I did was study. You, Mom, care for humans for your profession. My mom is a home share provider, and I don't want to give out too many details because my mom and the people I'm talking about are still alive. But my mother's profession is to take care of people who are too sick to be on their own, but not sick enough to be in the hospitals. They have mental health issues, and they are what we would consider often society's throwaways. People who, when you walk down the street, you might not want to talk to. People who are psychotic, schizophrenic, catatonic, and shall I say, not normal. In this society, so many of us are always jostling for rank and position and power and control. And I want to get this job and I can be a CEO. And we find our value in those things. And there's nothing wrong with succeeding. As a matter of fact, the biblical parable on the talents, God gives you 10 talents, you better use them and produce more. It gives you 5, use those. If you have 1, use it. So we all have a different amount of talents. But I want to value really what Christ values. And I look at various places in the Bible, but if I'm here on Luke 14, starting with verse 12, it says, "Then he said to the host who invited him, 'When you hold a lunch or a dinner, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or your wealthy neighbors, in case they may invite you back and you have repayment. Rather, when you hold a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind. Blessed indeed will you be because of their inability to repay you. For you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous.'" Again, I love my mom, and this video is not about my mom, but I want to use her as an example. My mother invites people over for the holidays who cannot repay her, people who often are homeless, people who have no place to go, people who have been kicked out of their houses. My mom's not a wealthy person. Her only income is what she gets, a little bit from the state, for helping take care of society's castaways. So I say to my mom what I say to you. Again, anybody could get a degree, and maybe anybody can't, but I'm just bettering myself so that I can go out and pursue my vocation. But my mother sacrifices everything and does exactly what Jesus said. So many of us, I included, could not do what she does. I feel bad, not because it's not my calling, but because I see the greatness in what my mom does quietly. And all of you men and women watching who adopt children who the rest of society wouldn't adopt, children or adults with Down syndrome, or children or adults who are handicapped, people who couldn't repay you, people you could succeed and do so many more things with your money, your wealth, your profession, your skills, your talents, and yet you care for those in society that are really the least of these. And so I say to my mom, who is greater? I don't want to affect anyone's humility. And I say that to my mom to help her understand that you may not be famous and no one may ever know what you're doing. But Jesus sees every moment. He sees every time that my mom has to wake up at the middle of the night to take someone to an appointment, a doctor's appointment, because they've had a break. Or every time that she has no money because she doesn't have a bigger job and she's spent it all on gifts for these people that she calls her kids. I want to kind of get off of the subject of my mom because I don't want to give more information than I already had. But if we look at the Bible verse that I read today, who are we getting repaid by and when? I hope I'm using my gifts and talents to the best of my abilities here because it's the vocation God gave me, and I should be on podcasts. I should be doing seminars. I should be writing books. That's my vocation. Lots of people know my name. But isn't that the problem? Because I don't want them to know my name. I want them to know Christ's name. Hopefully you know Christ through me. But then I look at my mom. Few know her name, her neighbors, her family. And yet in heaven, I see her being elevated because of the life she has led in the quiet, by the souls she has served in the dark, where no one is watching but God. God who rewards everything, who sees everything. So for those of you who think you're not making a big contribution to the world, I challenge you on that. What is your contribution based on? Being known? No. The amount of money you're making? Certainly not. The clientele you serve? Perhaps. If you are doing for others and they can do nothing for you in return, you are truly answering God's call. For those of you that are paying for the electricity of someone who doesn't even know it's you who paid the electricity. Recently, I had a stander in my group whose husband refuses to pay her any child support for their children that they share together, who is thumbing his nose to the judge. She didn't publicly broadcast that, but within our group, she simply said, "Please pray for me. I don't have any money for groceries or my bills right now. I just know that the Lord will provide." Several people were able to help her, but one in particular said, "I want to help her, but I don't want her to know who I am." And this person gave a very large sum of money to help her. She simply thanked this person through me because she will never know this side of heaven who helped her. I think of how this person is going to be rewarded when he or she meets God. I wish I could be more like my mom. I wish I could be more like that person, those people that do things privately. I can and I do things privately. But once I've been told in a post, "Oh, great video, Christine, great point," and I appreciate that. As Jesus said, that's my reward. I've been told. But I hope that I can please the Lord as He suggests in this Bible. Inviting the poor and the lame and those who just cannot help me. I just want to do this video to get you to consider yourself. For many of you, you think you're not making that big of a difference. You really are. Who are you serving? Regardless if you're serving the kings of the world or the poor of the world, the Mother Teresa, God sees it and God will reward it because you're serving. But I think He's got a special place for the people who, like Mother Teresa, serve the least of these, those whose names will never be known on this world, but will only be known on the other side. Those who, without people like my mom or Mother Teresa, wouldn't have a meal, wouldn't have someone to love them, wouldn't have someone to buy them a Christmas gift, even if it's very small. So I want to encourage you to be this person. I thank you if you are that person. I thank you for how you are blessing our society. And I just wanted to encourage you to continue, because Jesus is so very blessed by your actions. For those of you like me that are, for whatever reason, more public, I encourage you to do a little bit more for the least of these. I'm going to try my best to be a little bit more like my mom. I want to be rewarded in heaven and not here on earth. Hope this gives you food for thought. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. I appreciate you watching this informational Bacon Bit, and I want to remind you always to live your life sunny side up.